This presentation will be recorded, and the recording and the slide deck will be sent to you after this is over. But today we're going to be talking about language translations and how that all works in PowerSchool. Now, if you have any questions after this, you're welcome to, or questions during the presentation, you are welcome to raise your hand and I can unmute you, or you can drop a question in the chat. Please don't hesitate to let me know when you need me to repeat something. This is informal, and so I want this to be a useful presentation for you. Okay, so just some general information before we get started. Some things to remember about what we're going to do. You will need the appropriate permissions to translate documents. And there are two parts to producing a translated document. For example, first, an administrator or somebody in that capacity has to translate the document template. And that is what we call a system admin task, okay? Then a user, such as a teacher, some districts, depending on the size and the setup, will use translators, but the user will complete the document and then translate that text that has been added to the document. So you may have a special education teacher that is actually writing the IEP, but a translator will then take that document and translate it and approve it before it is finalized and then, of course, sent home to a parent. So a document can be translated into more than one language. So each document template could have 150 languages that it's translated into. Translations in this program are done through Google Translate. And so PowerSchool, so it's a machine translation. So PowerSchool was very adamant in the presentation that I was in that these documents, once they're translated, they need to be reviewed by someone who speaks that language. Okay, so we just don't need to blindly trust the machine translation. You need to have it reviewed by someone who knows the language, preferably someone who's a native speaker. But anyway, there are over 150 different languages available for these documents to be translated into. Okay, so translating documents is not hard, and it's not really overly complicated, but it is tedious, meaning that there's lots of little steps, as many things in PowerSchool are, but the overall process of translating it's really simple. And there's just 3 steps, okay? First, you're going to have to add a language to the template. Then you're going to have to translate phrases and section names. And then you're going to have to activate the translation for users. Now, I'm going to go through this whole process on the PowerPoint first. Then I'm going to walk you through it in, I say live data. It's not really live data. It's fake data, but actually through the process, okay? So keep in mind, remember, you're going to have appropriate permissions to complete this as you, or you can assume the admin role. But you're going to follow, once you have assumed the admin role, you're going to follow this click path: administration, configuration, and document templates, okay? So you're going to go to administration, configuration, and then once you get there, you're going to go to document templates. And then you will see a screen that looks like this. And you'll see a list of documents, okay? So you're going to start this process by determining which document you want to work with. Now, I am actually choosing a short document because I don't want to have to translate a long document with a lot of sections, such as an IEP, because it does take quite a while to translate the IEP. So today, I'm going to translate just a short document. But since if you're the director or whoever is going to be translating this document, you're going to be able to filter this. For example, if you're just going to start working on the referral process, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 documents in that referral process. And you're probably not going to be able to do it in one sitting. So you're going to have to come back to this. And so maybe you want to see, maybe you're working on Spanish, and so you want to see which documents have already been translated into Spanish. So you would go right here next to language. You see it right here. And you'll toggle down to, you'll see the translations that are available, and you can toggle down to Spanish. And now you can see that there are 3 documents that are translated, and you can see that their statuses are active. Okay, because that's one of the steps. You're going to have to activate that document. So to choose the document you'd like to translate, you want to click the magnifying glass. Okay, so here's a zoomed in screenshot. So today I think I'm working with this one. Yes, notice and consent for the provision of services. So I'm going to click this magnifying glass, and it's going to give me this screen, okay? And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to toggle to More and Translations. Once I click that, if there was already a translation of this document, I would see it in this list. And today, when we walk through in the program, you'll see that I have already translated it in several languages, okay? So in this actual example, I'm using Gujarati. So whenever we get here to do the demonstration, you'll see Gujarati in this list already. So you could technically have, there's more than 150 choices of languages, so you could have up to 150 documents there translated in different languages, okay? So when you click Add a New Language, it's going to give you a pop-up, and you're going to get to choose the language you want to translate it into. So this drop-down allows you to choose that language. And then you would see, you'll see what's in these dark, in this dark gray right here, you'll see the name, the template name, and then the label name, you know, the revision, like when you do an amendment, okay? And then this will be blank. And then this is the machine translation that Google provides for the words here. And this is the exact same way it will work the whole time you are translating. Okay? There will always be the original English version, there'll be a blank space, and then there'll be a machine translation. And all you do is click this blue arrow, and it will move that machine translation into this blank spot. Now, if you were to know Gujarati, you could type your own translation in. Now, I only speak one language, and that is Southern Twangy English. But if I did know Gujarati, I could type it in there. So down here, the same thing with a machine translation. You can press this up arrow, and it'll go here. And then once you get it there, you can press OK. All right? And now you see that Gujarati language has been added, and there's the translated template name. Okay? And then there's the revision label name. But you can see it is not activated for users because we're not ready yet. Okay? And when we are ready, we'll come back to this spot and we'll click Activate for Users so that our people can see it. All right, so the next step is we're going to click this magnifying glass next to the language. And when we click that, we're going to get a screen that looks like this. And you can see all the pink spots, or the red, indicate that they have not been translated yet. So keep that in mind. So when we go on and we look at the top of that page, it's going to say Edit Translated Phrases, and that's where we're going to click. And when we click that button, we're going to get a pop-out that looks like this. And ultimately, it gives you every area that's highlighted, and it gives you a machine translation over here, and then it gives you a blank spot where, just like the screen before, you can either add your own translation or you can move that machine translation over. Now, keep in mind, this little, and this is on the next page. I'm gonna save it for here. So this is a little bit better screenshot. You have 3 columns. Again, the part that needs to be translated, the place to put the translation, and then this is the machine translation from Google that it gives you. Now, there are 2 ways. Again, you can add your own translation by typing it in, and honestly, I don't know what this is other than it's the commas or something. I really don't know because this is kind of gibberish code to me, and I just let it go with that and leave it because obviously it says the same thing. Okay, but you can move all of these translations all the way down in one click right here. But when you click this one blue arrow, it doesn't click this translation has been proofread. Now, if you do not click this button, translation has been proofread, it will not stick. Well, it'll stick, but it won't show as translated. That little checkbox has to be checked on every section in order for it to actually translate. So if you move it one by one here, it automatically checks it. Because basically it's assuming if I check this box to move it, then it's proofread. Okay? So another feature on this page is this translation pad. If you click this arrow, it is powered by Google. And you can look something up. So if you wanted to type, my name is Samantha in this source text and then translate it into another language, it will translate it and then you could copy it and paste it if that's how you wanted to do it. But once you have moved all of them over and then make sure you have clicked translation has been approved, you will click save. And then on the next page, or excuse me, save and continue. Click save and continue, not just save. But save it nonetheless. You'll click Edit Translation Properties here. Okay, so this is the next step. And all this is doing is translating the section name. And so you'll move this little blue arrow to insert the translation here, and then that's it. Accept. And now you can see all the section names have been translated. Okay? Now once you do that, you exit the translation and it will take you back to here. And then you can click Activate for Users. And that is how you translate a document template. Remember, that's an administrative task that someone who in some sort of leadership role would do. Now, the next step is to make that translation available for the teachers to use, okay, so that they can then translate their documents. And so what you would do is you're going to go to Administration and Security, and you're going to go down and find the Special Education Teacher Security Group, and then you're going to go to Document Templates, and then you're going to select the template and click the magnifier, and then you're going to come over here and you're going to click this Edit button, okay? You're going to find the document that you, make sure you find the document that you want to edit, and then when you find it, you're going to click this pencil. Now this is for the whole document rights, and this is for the section. So if there was just a section you wanted to give rights to, this is the one you would use. Most of the time you're going to use this pencil because you want to give document-wide rights. And so you're going to edit and make sure you put a checkbox in the translation check, okay? And once you do that, the teachers will be able to translate their documents. Additionally, you have to add this privilege to their rights. So up here, when you're here, you have document templates right here. Then you can click right here under Properties and Privileges. If you click that, you're going to get a screen that looks like this. You're going to go down to the part that says Student Profiles and Document Privileges, and this is where you give rights for a security group to do certain things. And so you've got to give this Translate Template Documents you for teachers, usually they don't create or edit template documents, but they do translate them. Okay, and so you want to grant that location wide or wide, system wide based on whatever here, whatever you have your um, security settings set. And at this point, most teachers are just location wide, and so you would also grant it location wide. Okay, so sometimes either forms get updated, like we get updates to our IEP forms and other forms sometimes. Usually those big updates happen in the summer, but sometimes there are issues and we have to provide those updates throughout the year. For example, our student transfer review form in special education has been updated a couple of times this year. And if that would be the case, you're going to have to come into that form and translate any sections that have been added. And so this is what you would do. You would go to More, the More button for that document, and you would find missing translations. And when you click that, it's going to show you the sections that are not translated. Okay? And then once you have done that, you're going to navigate to the finalized document. In this case, it's a notice and consent for provisionals of services. So maybe my team met yesterday and found a student eligible and wrote the IEP, and now I have come back in and I have, as a special ed teacher, and I've finalized that document, and I need to be able to send a translated copy home to the parents. So I have my notice and consent for the provision of services pulled up, and I'm going to go to Navigate to, and I'm going to click Language Translations. And when I do, a pop-up like this is going to happen. And I'm going to add a translation. And then it's going to allow me to add what language. It'll show me which ones are available, and I'm going to click Accept. Okay? And so then I'm going to come over and I'm going to click the magnifying glass. When I do, it's going to give me all the sections of that document. It's going to show me the English version in yellow under each section. And then again, it's going to show me the machine translation here. And it's going to give me those familiar blue arrows that I can press those blue arrows and it will put the translation here, or again, just like I told you earlier, I can type my own translation if I know the language. So I have two options for saving, well, three actually. But I can save as proofed, meaning a translator or someone has proofed it for me and I'm ready to finalize, or I can save as not yet proofed, depending on the process within your district. You could have to save it, print it out, give it to the person who's reviewing your translations, and then get it approved before you can send it home. So at that point, you would save it as not proofed until you got the okay, and then you could mark it as proofed. And then once you've done that, you can then set it to final just like you would any other document you were working on. Okay? And then once you've set that document to final, you will see it in your document hub just like any other document. There'll be a column over here for translation. So if you want the English version, you click here. If you want the translated version, you click here. Okay? So this is just a little extra. So PowerSchool recommends that if you're going to have a separate security group set up for those users who will be translating and proofing documents. Especially, to me, this is straight from PowerSchool, okay? So especially if you're going to have a district where there's going to be a lot of this. In a small district, like for me, in my small district, we did not have any children that needed translated documents for special education. So if it had happened, I would have been the one to do it. And then I would have worked with our federal programs coordinator to have somebody translate and all that kind of stuff. So as far as proofreading our documents before we sent them home. So I would have actually been the person that would have done all of this. I would not have put that on my teachers, but I understand in larger districts, especially ones with larger population of students that are English learners, that there would be a need to have a separate security group. The group would, you could name it, these are just suggestions, translate document templates, and then you could provide that group access to view any student profile or other profiles. And then, you know, this is the thing. If you don't know how to set up a security group or how to add users or anything, you probably need to contact Sherry or me so that we can help you with that, because it's not I mean, it takes a little bit of thinking through, okay? There is a whole presentation on security basics, and it's available in our live binder, okay? Now, one more thing about translation. You also have to translate your keyword tables, like all the little drop downs that are in your IEPs or on your eligibility reports. Those all have to be translated, and those are called keyword tables. So you do have to translate those, and you get to those by going to Administration, Configuration, and then Keyword Tables, and then you're going to select the table that you want to work with, and you're going to add a translation. It works the exact same as what I've already shown you. You can see in my screenshots here, you would go to Administration up here, Configuration, and then you're going to choose Keyword Tables. And now I'm going to select my table, and I selected area, okay? And I'm going to go to the More button, and I'm going to add a language translation. Here I'm choosing Gujarati, and then I can see that there are already two languages here. There's Spanish and Gujarati. And then when I click this pencil, it's going to give me all the areas, the same format that I've already worked in, the untranslated description, where the translation goes, and this is the actual machine translation. And again, I can just move these translations with the blue arrows. And once I'm finished, I can click Accept. Okay? Now, it's time for questions and answers, but I'm going to pause my screen when I'm going to get set up to demonstrate to the actual process, and then you can be thinking of questions and let me know if you want to ask them or not. Okay, so I'm going to start right here. I have, so the first thing I'm going to do is I am logged in here to fake data, so don't worry about it being real. But I'm going to go to Administration, and I'm going to assume the admin role so that I make sure that I have the rights to do everything I need to do. And I am doing a document template translation, and then, all right. And that is how you assume the admin role, in case you don't know. And once I do that, I'm going to go to Administration and Configuration. I'm going to go to Document Template. And now I'm going to, oh, let me show you this real quick. I'm going to choose, you can see all these are languages that I've worked with, okay? So let's see which documents have been translated into Chinese simplified version. So you can see that the IEP process, the IEP, has been translated and it's active. Okay? Let's see which one. Let's look at Gujarati. I only have one, and it's the notice and consent. So I've already done a demonstration on it, and I think I did Swahili last. So notice and consent for initial eval is done in Swahili. Okay? So today I'm going to try, let's just use Swahili. So because I know I've done notice and consent for initial eval, but I haven't done provision. So now I'm going to go back to here and I'm going to go do provision. So remember, I'm going to click my magnifying glass. I'm going to go to more and I'm going to go to translations. Okay, and you can see I already have this document translated into French, Gujarati, Korean, and Albanian, and all of those are active. So now I'm going to add a new language, and I said I was going to do Swahili. And now I'm going to, I can type what I want to in this field, but I don't want to because I don't know Swahili, so I'm just going to trust what Google says, and I'm going to press these up arrows to get the translation into those boxes. I'm going to click OK. You can see it is not active. So now I'm going to go to the magnifying glass again, and it's going to show me all the untranslated phrases are in pinkish red. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to edit translated phrases. And now remember, I'm going today trust Google. This is the untranslated phrase. This is where the translation for Swahili goes. And then this is the machine translation. I can do it two ways. I can click this blue arrow and it'll put it in there, and this is already checked for me. Okay? Or I can move them all at one time like this with this blue arrow at the top. But look what happened. It moved them all, but it did not check that translation has been proved. And remember, if we save this without clicking this box, it will not show up on the translated document. This box must be checked. So by checking these, I'm saying, okay, I believe that is the right translation. Now, if it were me and I was working at the district, I would then have someone who speaks Swahili after I got this translated. I would give it to them and let them read it and see if it's correct. But once I get this document translated and proofed, then I have a translated document template. I don't have to mess with this anymore except if there was an update. Okay, save and continue. Now I want to show you this. This translation pad is what I was talking about. So if I wanted to type in, my name is Samantha Russell, and then I want to translate it into Swahili. Where is Swahili? Oh, I guess it's not there. I don't know. Maybe if I was using a different language, maybe the language that I'm actually working with is not here. And then that is what it looks like in this language, okay? I could always copy and paste that over here if I wanted to, but I'm not going to do that because I'm going to leave it. So now I'm going to save it, and it's going to take me back to this screen. Now remember, there's one more thing. I've got to do my sections. So now I'm going to click Edit Translation Properties, and I'm going to put that there. Accept. And now I'm done. So I'm going to exit translation. And now I'm going to go back to here, Document Templates. I'm going to click it again. I'm going to go to Translations. And now I see all of them. There's one more thing I've got to do. Do y'all remember? It's the Activate for Users. And now it's activated. Okay? Now, let's go one more place. Let's go to Configuration. Remember those keyword tables? I'm going to click that. And then I'm going to choose area again, okay? And now you can remember I had, I can't remember what language this is, but that's Spanish and that's Gujarati. And so if I want to add a language translation for this keyword table, I could add Swahili. There it is, Swahili. And now there's Swahili, and I can edit it, and now I'm going to move all of these. So math, that's what this math says. And reading, social studies, science, and accept. Now I have a list of keyword tables for area that I can put in a document if I need it, okay? So I'm going to finish edit that. Now I'm going to go and find my student that I have prepared, and I have prepared Blanche Devereaux. Y'all know where Blanche is from, the Golden Girls? So I chose Blanche. And Blanche already has I'm actually telling my age on her. Blanche has a notice and consent for the provision of services already there. I've already finalized it today, as a matter of fact, just a little while ago. And so my next step is to translate this document. So I'm going to go to Navigate to, and I'm going to click Language Translation. So I'm the teacher, or in some cases the translator, and I'm going to add a translation, and I want to add Swahili. It's available. These are the only translations that are available for this document because this document template's been translated to Swahili. I'm going to hit Accept, and now I'm going to, you see it's in draft, hit the magnifying glass, and these are the English. This is the English that I have put in the finalized version, English version, and now I'm going to either type what I want to say here in Swahili, or I'm going to insert it with my arrows, okay? Just like that. So now I have Swahili, and all of this other information is translated. I need to insert the address, and I'm going to save this one as proof. I'm going to pretend that I speak Swahili and I have proofread it. And then I'm going to set this document from draft to final. And now I can see in my document hub, there is a English version and there is a Swahili version, and it is in final. And that is